Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us for our first Windward webinar of 2023. My name is Jennifer, and I'll be your moderator for today's presentation. Like usual, at the end of the presentation, we will have time for questions, so you want to make sure that you leave your detailed question in the question box so that we can go back and get you the answers that you're looking for. If you need to leave or you want to rewatch the webinar, you can look at all our past webinars at windwardsoftware.com/webinars. And if you have any questions that we can't answer during the presentation or that you think of afterwards, please email support@windwardsoftware.com. Our presenter today is Annabelle, and we will be discussing the Sales Promotion Incentive Fund. So without further ado, let's get started.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Hello, everyone. As what Jennifer had said, so I'll be the presenter for today's webinar about SPIFF, which is the Sales Promotion Incentive Fund. So we'll be discussing what SPIFFs are all about, and we will be focusing on the basic uses, the setup, and the configuration of SPIFFs. So SPIFF is an acronym that stands for Sales Promotion Incentive Fund. So it is generally a kickback from the supplier to a salesperson for selling a particular item between two dates. So for the setup, there is no additional setup for SPIFF from the setup wizard, so it needs to be set up from the item inventory. So to do so, you just need to select the item under inventory and purchases, inventory and edit item. You just need to search for the part. And from the item inventory, you just need to click on the SPIFF tab and enter the start date, the end date, and then the amount. So once you have entered all those information, then this item or that particular item will then be eligible for the SPIFF. So let's say, for example, you do have a lot of items that you wanted to set up the SPIFF. So if you don't want to go to each item inventory, you can actually do it through a data load. So once it has been set up, the next step for this is you'll be adding the items to a sale. So like let's say you wanted to see how much you need to pay for the salesperson. So that would be through the SPIFFs paid report. So the SPIFFs paid report can be run under reports, sales reports, salesperson's report, and the SPIFFs paid reports. So as you can see on this report, there are different options. So this option, the filters and options that are available are as follows. So salesperson, so you have the option to either select one salesperson or all the salesperson. And the start and end date. So this will be you will select the sales within date range, so you specify the start and then the end date. And show invoice detail. So if this is checked, it will show the information for each invoice on which a spiffable part is found. Salesperson belongs to customer, so you will use the salesperson assigned to the customer on the invoice rather than the salesperson assigned to the invoice itself. The next one is exclude discounted items, so only reports on items not sold below sale or regular price. Restrict to SPIFF items, so if this option is checked, which is by default, this is checked, so this will only consider SPIFF items, so the report header will change to items sold when this option is not selected. The other available filter is include work orders. If you wanted to include the work orders on the report, so you just need to select this option. And then we have the SPIFF targets. It's either the total profit or margin percentage. So you have the option to specify the profit or margin targets that must be met in order for the salesperson to become eligible for SPIFFs. So the targets are applied to each main inventory category. So for example, if you specify a target margin, the sales by a salesperson in each main category will be compared against the target margin that you have set. So if the salesperson has exceeded the target margin in a category, he will then be qualified for the SPIFs in that main category. So if that salesperson does not qualify for the SPIFs in the main category, so the actual paid column will show 0 for the salesperson in that main category. So I will show you later on how this works. And department, so you just need to select one department or all departments. Item restrict, so you just need to restrict a specific item. Brand restrict, so to a specific brand. Supplier restrict is to a specific supplier. And categories, so select our categories or a group of categories. So the next would be our live demonstration. So as what I've said, the setup, it doesn't include further setup from the setup wizard. So we just need to go directly to the item inventory and set the start date, the end date, and then the amount. So we just need to go to the inventory and purchases, inventory, edit item, and you just need to select which item you wanted to set the SPIF. So like let's say for example, let's do this. So we clicked on OK. So I'll edit the item, and from the item inventory, you can see different options on the left side or at the top. So we just need to click on the SPIFs, and from here, you'll specify the start date, the end date, and then the amount. So like let's say start 1st of January 2023. So, and then let's say it ends on the end of the month, and let's say the amount is 25. Okay. All right. So the next step is once you have set it up, so this is now eligible for SPIF. So we can then create a sale. So under sales, new sale. So just select the clerk as a demo. So let's see, say for example, cash. Let me select customer, and then let's add that item on the invoice. And this one. Okay, because this is AIC, let me just select the serial number. And since this is a cash invoice, I need to tender to complete the invoice or to finish the sale. So, okay, so after that, to check how much you need to pay for the salesperson, we need to go to reports, sales reports, salesperson reports, and we have the SPIFs paid report. So from here, so these are the options that are available. So from here, the salesperson, you can either select all salespeople, or if you wanted just like let's say one specific salesperson, and then you can set the date. So let's say you wanted it for a month, and so this one right here. So you wanted to show invoice detail. So okay, so this is by default restrict to SPIF items. And if you wanted to include work orders, you can check this as well. So if we click on view, so this is this is at the top. So this is the one that we have done. So the other one I created as a test earlier. So as you can see, it now showed in here the SPIF is 25, and then the actual paid is 25. So as you can see right here, the amount they need to pay to the salesperson is 75. So that's the total of all the invoices that this salesperson has made within the time period. So within the January 1 until January 31st. So let's say, for example, you wanted to set a specific um, margin or like target. So like let's say, for example, you only wanted the salesperson to be able to be eligible for SPIF if the profit is higher or it matches with a specific amount. So like, let's say, example, 2000 margin. Just leave it as 0. So as you can see, when you click on view, it will show right here. It will show right here the SPIF rate, because this is the amount that should be calculated. But as you can see, the actual paid in here, it shows 0 because this particular salesperson does not reach the target. The target, the profit, it's actually set for each main category. So the items, even though as you can see the total is the profit right here is 1479.97, and they are all under the same category, right? So the profit doesn't match the target that has been set. So that's the reason why the paid column is 0, and the amount that show right here under the total paid that you need to pay for the salesperson is 0 if you will set like a target. And I think that will be all for the SPIFs. Do you have any questions?
Awesome, thank you. So we do have a couple questions. The first question from Lance is, can you show us how to data load for SPIFs?
Okay. All right. So for data load, we actually need columns for your CSV file. So I don't have a CSV file, so let's just create that real quick. So you need the part number, the category, supplier, and then start, end, and then amount. So let's just do it real quick. So part number, supplier, category, especially if the parts are actually from different suppliers from different categories. So you need this, so part number, supplier, category, and so we just need to I just wanted to specify one category real quick. So let's see right here. Okay, let's do that. Okay. Okay, so let me just export this to Excel. Let me just edit the this one right here, and let me just delete. So we will add a column for, let me just adjust. So if it's only for one if it's only for one category or and one supplier, you don't need to include supplier and category column on the CSV file. But let's say, for example, if it's for different or multiple suppliers and multiple categories, so you need to include this two on your CSV file. So we have start, date, and then end date, and then amount. So let's say I just have it on one. Wonder if what my format is, but let's see. Okay, and 2023 131, and let's see 50. Just have it 50 to all for all. Let's make it 50 for all of them, and they have the same, and start date. Okay, so let me just save this as a CSV file. Save it as a CSV. Let me just save it on my desktop and just name it as SPIFF. Okay, all right. So let me just close this so that we could proceed with the data load. So once you have the CSV file, just close that. So once you have the CSV file, so we go to the inventory and purchases data load, part load, and we will look for the file, which is the SPIFF, and we go next. So from here, we will need to map the column. So we have the part number, we have the supplier. So you just need to right click on the column, and then look, this one is supplier, and then this is a category. So this is the SPIF start date. So as you can see right here, there's SPIF. So we will map this as the start date. And then this one, SPIF end date. And then this one, map it to the SPIF amount. And you also need to set your date format. So my date format is, it is year, month, and day. So year, month, date. So like, let's say for example, whatever your format is, you need to change your date format from here. And then, so we go next. And if, like, let's say for example, from your CSV file, it is only for one category and one supplier, and you did not specify that from your CSV file, you just need to set the supplier, the category from here, and then the supplier from here. So this, we will skip the header row and update existing regular parts. So my version is actually the latest version, so it may be different from what you can see from your system 5. So this is like a new option, this match part matching method. So this one's right here, if you allow duplicates, so they will be grayed out. So let's just do category plus part number. And let's go next, and then load. Yes. All right. Okay, there we go. It says updated. So let's take a look. So you close it. So we go to, so these are the items. So let's take a look at if they are loaded. So let's go to SPIF. There we go. So it's now showing right here. So that's how you do the data load for the SPIF.
Okay, excellent. The next question here, sorry, 1 second, let me get to it. Gerard would like to know if it's possible to set up a SPIF as a percentage instead of a dollar amount.
No, it's actually set there. There's no option to set it as a percentage. As you can see, when you go to the item, uh, the column in there is amount. So we don't have any other setting where we can set the SPIF though. So it's an amount.
Okay. Kathy would like to know if you can show her how to add a vendor that's sorry, let me read this. Can you show how to add the SPIF to a vendor that's already loaded in the database, not one at a time by the entire vendor?
Is that like a data load?
Let's just see. Where did it go? Sorry, my computer is all over the place. Kathy, let us know if your question's already been answered there with the data load. We'll move on to the next one until you respond there. Upma asked, can we batch print invoices from this report? Previously, it would have a pop-up in between each invoice asking for a file name and where to save it.
Is that from the SPIF paper report?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I need to check that. So when you print, right? You're referring to the printing, I believe. Let me just the question is, what was the question again? Like about
Can you
where
batch
did you get
print
the pop-up?
invoices?
The the our option for batch printing is usually for just check. So, did you get the prompt from here, right? Like from the SPIFFs paid report?
I believe so, yeah. It was asking them to save as PDF or create a PDF in between each one.
Mm-hmm. I wonder. I need to check on that though. Let me just check on that, and then I will just get back to you.
Okay, excellent. And then Kathy clarified her question. She wants to see how to do it with a global entry or change to existing items in inventory.
Okay. So instead of adding a new one, okay. Let's just use the same. So like, okay. So you wanted to update the SPIF of the existing item, right? And set the new start and end date, and with the new pricing or the new amount. Is that correct?
I
Because it's
believe
basically
so.
it's the same process. You just need to have your CSV file, and you need to have all the columns and then the specific information, which are like the start date, the end date, and the amount. It's the same option that you need to select when you do a data load. So when you do a data load, let me just show you again. So the option right here. So once you do have the file, it's the same. It's the same information that you need as long as you have this, the start date, the end date, and then the amount. So like let's say you wanted to start a new the SPIF. It's a new amount for a new date. So you just need to specify from your CSV file the new start date and the new end date and then the new amount. And it's the same option that you need to select, which is update the existing regular parts.
Okay, excellent. Kathy, I hope that answers your question, but if not, let us know. We can connect with you afterwards. We have a question from David. He'd like to know how the cashier would add the salesperson. So if there's an ability to
Ah,
change that.
okay. Well, from the invoice, like when you like, let's say for example, right here, right? So from the start, you set the clerk, right? So you set that from here. But like, let's say for example, it was already created, like the invoice was already created. So from the invoice, there is an option to change the clerk under the invoice tab. So from here, you can change it to anyone else, clerk or salesperson. Does that answer your question?
Yep, that's great. We have a
Okay.
couple more minutes, so if you have a question, you want to add it now, we can have Annabelle answer. Otherwise, you can email support@windwardsoftware.com. We have our next webinar in 2 weeks. January 26th, we'll be discussing modifiers in System 5. And if you want to rewatch this webinar or look at some of our older ones, again, you can go to windwardsoftware.com/webinars, and all of our archives will be there. All right, well, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I think we'll say goodbye for today. Oh, so no, I was wrong. David's got a follow-up here. Cashier is
Mhm.
cashing out 10 items and only one has a SPIF. So
Uh,
how would you add that?
what do you mean? Like,
There's only one
so
item.
it's
Yeah.
there is only one item for SPIF, and then
And the other ones aren't.
I don't quite understand the question. Like, okay, so you set up the SPIF on one item, and then you just actually need to add it to the invoice. But is that, or can you give more information about your question?
Maybe, David, we'll have someone connect with you just to work with you on that one, just to get the answer for you.
Mm,
And then, oh, we did have a last minute one from Gerard. For work orders and invoices, we use commission percent in addition to clerk. Can the SPIF be based on the salesperson commission field instead of the clerk?
well, salesperson assigned to the customer, or which salesperson are you referring to? Because usually
Yeah,
though,
that's how I read it. Yeah.
because by default, when you create a, like, let's say, when you the SPIF will be based on, like, let's say from here, like the clerk from the invoice. But like, let's say for example, you wanted it to be on the salesperson assigned to the customer. Like, let's say for example, you have a customer, you can assign a salesperson for that customer. So from the report though, you could change it. Like, let's say for example, this customer, there is a specific salesperson assigned, like this one right here. So there's a salesperson assigned, like let's say this one, and then the clerk is different. um you can, and then the SPIF goes to the salesperson assigned to the customer. When you run the report, like the SPIF report, you just need to check this option, salesperson belongs to the customer. And if you're actually using a commission, you have commissions as well. From the commission report, there is an option to include SPIFs. So if you wanted it to show at one place, you could also check include SPIFs when you run your commission report. So it will actually show the commission and the SPIF. As you can see, I don't have a commission set up, but if there is a commission set up, there will be the commission, and then there's the SPIF showing as well.
Okay. I'm not sure that fully answered Gerard's question, so we will have someone reach out to you as well, Gerard. And if there's anything else, please give us an email, give us a call, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. There's a couple people here we'll get back to afterwards. So thank you guys for joining us
Mhm.
today, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day.